In this video, we're going to find the solution to the given systems of equations by elimination. To do that, we need to make it where the coefficients of one of our letters match but have opposite signs. So one should be positive and one should be negative. So let's start by looking at our x's. 5 and -2. Well, they are opposite signs, which is good, but the least common multiple would be 10. So not a huge number, but not the smallest number either. Let's look at the y's. I have -1y and -4y. Here, the numbers are the same sign, so we're going to have to switch one of them because we need one positive, one negative. And the lowest common multiple for 1 and 4 is 4. So in this case, I'm going to choose to eliminate the y. And that's because in order to do that, to make both coefficients 4, I'm only going to need to multiply one of my equations instead of both. In order to get rid of the x, I'd have to multiply the top by 2 and the bottom by 5. So I'm doing 2 steps. You'll get the same answer either way. This just requires fewer components. So how do we make the coefficient of y match in both equations, but be opposite signs? Well, again, we have -1y and -4y. To turn a 1 into a 4, we're going to multiply by 4. But because the other equation is negative, we need this top one to become a positive. So I'm going to multiply by -4 in order for it to become a positive in the equation. Let's go ahead and distribute that -4 to the three parts of our equation. -4 times 5x is -20x. -4 times -y is +4y. And then we have our equals. -4 times 8 is -32. Now we can add these two equations together. Note that what we're doing here is we're adding this bottom equation to the new version of our top equation after we've distributed. -2x minus 20x is -22x. -4y plus 4y cancels, as we had hoped. And we carry down our equals. -12 and -32 gives us -44. Now that we have an equation of -22x equals -44, we can divide both sides by -22. And that gives us that x is equal to +2. Now, we can substitute that value back into either of our original equations. I'm going to pick the top one just because it has smaller numbers. So 5x minus y equals 8. So I'm going to do 5 times the 2 value we just got, minus y equals 8. 5 times 2 simplifies to 10. I'm trying to solve for the y, so I'll subtract 10 on both sides. Notice that that leaves -y on the left, and 8 minus 10 is -2. To finish getting y by itself, we want to divide by -1 on both sides, because right now we have -y, we need +y, and that gives us that +y equals 2. So our final solution here is that x is 2 and y is 2, so we write it as the point 2, 2. Remember, you can always be sure that your answer is correct by plugging it back into the original equations. As long as it works in both of the equations, you have your correct solution.